The crash site smoldered under the twin suns of Vareth Prime, sending columns of black smoke spiraling into the copper sky. Lena wiped the sweat from her brow as she surveyed the wreckage of the Galactic Council transport vessel. Metal twisted like paper, scattered across the rocky terrain in a radius of devastation that spoke of catastrophic failure. She'd been surveying mineral deposits 3 kilometers away when the sky had screamed with the sound of dying engines. Her instincts, those peculiar human instincts that the galaxy found both fascinating and terrifying, had sent her running toward danger instead of away from it. The screaming started before she reached the primary hull breach. Not the mechanical scream of tortured metal, but something biological. High-pitched, terrified, and utterly desperate. Lena's pace quickened, her boots crunching over debris as she activated her thermal scanner. Multiple heat signatures surrounded a smaller one, and her blood ran cold at the pattern she recognized. Rexhounds. Native to Vareth Prime, they were pack hunters with crystalline teeth capable of shearing through reinforced plating. The mining colony had lost 3 workers to them last season. The smaller heat signature was fading. Lena didn't think. Thinking was what got most species killed in situations like this. The careful calculation of risk versus reward, the logical assessment of survival probability. Humans, however, had a different operating system. One that had dragged them from Earth's primordial soup to the stars on the back of a single, illogical principle. Someone needs help. She rounded the twisted hull section and saw them. 6 Rexhounds, their iridescent scales gleaming like oil slicks, circled something small and gray near an escape pod. The creature the child pressed against the pod's wreckage, its 4 arms wrapped around its head in a futile gesture of protection. Its fur, matted with blue blood, marked it as Vilori, one of the Council's most influential species. The lead Rexhound lunged. Lena's mining torch ignited with a sound like thunder. The plasma arc caught the beast mid-leap, sending it tumbling backward with a shriek that made the others scatter. But only for a moment, their tiny, malevolent eyes fixed on her, recalculating. 1 human, 6 of them. They liked those odds. "Come on then," Lena muttered, adjusting her grip on the torch. "Let's dance." The Rexhounds attacked in a coordinated rush, a testament to their pack intelligence. Lena moved like water, her body remembering 1,000 forgotten battles her ancestors had fought with saber-toothed cats and dire wolves, on a planet these creatures had never heard of. She swept the torch in a wide arc, creating a wall of superheated plasma that gave even the Rexhounds pause. One darted in from her blind side. She spun, bringing her reinforced boot up to meet its jaw with a crack that echoed across the crash site. The creature yelped and retreated, but another took its place immediately. This time, teeth found purchase on her forearm, piercing the tough fabric of her work suit. Pain bloomed, white-hot and electric. The Rexhound's venom was already working, trying to paralyze her limb. But human physiology was a stubborn thing, built on a death world that had spent millions of years trying to kill them. Her arm trembled but didn't fall. Lena drove the plasma torch into the beast's flank. It released her with a howl, stumbling away as its scales began to melt. The pack hesitated, their alpha assessment of the situation shifting. This prey fought back. This prey hurt. Behind her, she heard a soft whimper. The Vilori Kupkiri, her translator, helpfully informed her from the distress beacon it was picking up, was watching with enormous violet eyes. 4 years old, according to the beacon's data. Just a child. Something primal ignited in Lena's chest. That same fierce protectiveness that had made human mothers lift ground vehicles off their children, that had sent human fathers charging into burning buildings, that had written a million stories of strangers becoming heroes for children they'd never met. Not today, she growled at the Rexhounds. Not this one. The Alpha circled, looking for an opening. Lena didn't give it one. She advanced instead, torch blazing, every movement aggressive and deliberate. The Rexhounds had never encountered prey that became predator. In their simple neural networks, confusion sparked. She roared a sound no Vilori could make, no polite council species would ever produce. It was the battle cry of Earth, of humanity's savage ancestry, of every human who had ever stood between danger and the defenseless. The sound carried across the wasteland, raw and defiant. The Alpha broke first. Then the others followed, their survival instincts finally overriding their hunger. Within seconds, the pack had vanished into the rocky outcroppings, leaving only scattered scales and blue-stained earth. Lena's arm throbbed, and she could feel the venom spreading despite her body's resistance. She had maybe 20 minutes before she'd need medical attention. But first, she turned to the small, trembling form by the escape pod. Kiri stared up at her with those huge eyes, all four arms still wrapped protectively around her small body. The cub was covered in cuts and bruises, her breathing rapid and shallow. "Hey there, little one," Lena said softly, deactivating the torch and kneeling slowly. "It's okay now. You're safe." Kiri's translator implant crackled to life with a child's voice. You fought the beasts. For me, why?" Lena smiled, despite the pain radiating up her arm. "Because that's what we do, sweetheart. We see someone who needs help, and we help. Simple as that, but I am not your species. Not your pack. Doesn't matter." Lena extended her good hand carefully. "You needed someone. I was here." "That's enough." Slowly, hesitantly, one of Kiri's small hands reached out and grasped Lena's finger. The Velori cub's fur was soft, almost like silk, and warm despite the trauma she'd endured. "Come on," Lena said, scooping the child up with her good arm. "Let's get you somewhere safe. And then maybe you can tell me about your family. I bet they're looking for you." As she carried Kiri away from the wreckage, the cub buried her face in Lena's shoulder. "The other species," Kiri whispered. "They say humans are dangerous." Lena chuckled, though it hurt. "We are, little one. Very dangerous. But here's the secret." She adjusted her grip, holding the child closer. "We're most dangerous to the things that threaten those we've decided to protect." Behind them, the wreckage continued to burn. But carried in the arms of a human who had chosen to run toward danger rather than away from it, Kiri finally stopped shaking. The galaxy would learn, as it always did, what humanity had known since the beginning. Sometimes the most terrifying predator was the one who fought not for itself, but for someone else.